Is it just a high-induced, dark fantasy, or is there a hidden reality to your partner that you never knew existed? Should you confront the disturbing revelations from your spouse, or is ignorance bliss in maintaining the facade of a normal relationship? In today's story, we delve into a chilling tale that blurs the line between a seemingly perfect marriage and the dark secrets lurking beneath. Come join us now as we explore the unsettling revelations of a husband's hidden desires revealed to his wife, as told by Reddit user ThrowRamU. As we unravel this narrative, we're confronted with the haunting question: how well do we truly know the ones we love?
Me, a 32-year-old female, and my husband, a 32-year-old male, have been married for 3 years and were together for 3 years before that. We do not have kids. We had some edibles over the weekend and got into a deep conversation. At one point, my husband made a comment about video games being his most normal interest, so I asked him what his other interests were. His response was along the lines of people dying, people's faces as they're dying, the sounds people make when they die. I thought he was just messing with me by being overly dark with his abnormal interests, but he was not. He also said he thinks a lot about ways he can say things and what tone of voice he can use to best influence people, almost like he thinks he can hypnotize or control people with the way he speaks to them. He was high, I was high. I kept telling myself this was just a weird path his weed brain was going down. But then he started talking about bad things he had done, like how he killed a kitten when he was younger. He had told me a version of this story before, but this time I got the full detail. He had drowned a kitten because the kitten's spine was broken and it couldn't walk. I asked him how it got hurt, and my husband said he had hit it with a stick after it scratched him.
Wow, what a shocking thing to hear from someone you love. How would you respond to hearing something like that from your partner? Leave your comments below. She continues,
I didn't ask him about other bad things he had done, and he didn't share any. This whole conversation really got to me. I know my husband to be a kind, outgoing, empathetic person, but I'm sure there are sides to him I haven't seen. I think everyone has things in their past they aren't proud of, but this was just beyond anything I could relate to, and it's still bothering me days later. My husband has never shown any signs of being violent, but between the kitten story and his apparent fixation on people dying, just what the truck? So should I be concerned, or is this just high nonsense? Should I try to get him to resolve this stuff or just let it go? Side note, we've had weed together many times in the past and nothing remotely like this has ever come up before. He's been pretty resistant to therapy before when I've suggested it for the anxiety he tells me he has, so any advice on getting him to go if that's a suggestion?
Again, all I can think to say is, wow, this is truly disturbing. Is there any response we could offer this poor woman other than run for the hills? Let's see how Reddit users responded to her husband's dark revelation. A Reddit user who calls himself Trauma Transfixes picks up on the fact that this woman is trying to perhaps attribute this revelation to being high and promptly swats that idea down with,
There's no connection with edibles and having a history of killing animals and watching people die and fantasizing about it. These two things are unrelated other than your spouse using it as an excuse to manipulate you. Sorry, this is so horrifying.
Yeah, he's got a good point there. Getting high off of edibles wouldn't normally cause someone to fantasize about killing animals and watching people die, would it? Reddit user BeetleSwing worries that ThrowRamU's husband is a budding serial killer, with the killing just waiting to happen, and warns.
I was like, oh good, she's finding out her husband is a serial killer. I guess it's better to find out now before you find the bodies buried in your yard. Everyone loved John Wayne Gacy. He was a friendly party clown, a murderous friendly party clown, but no one knew till it was way too late. If your husband is having these fantasies now, I'd be trying to find a way out, where he could never find me or my family or friends. Weed doesn't make you fantasize about being a killer, and the worst types start with animals when they're young.
Hey, I don't know about you, but I'm beginning to think that this is good advice. Remember, ThrowRamU did note that they had no kids, yet, so it would certainly be easier to leave him and the potential harm he might cause before she had any with him. And at age 32, she still has time to find another man, a normal man, hopefully this next time, and have kids with him. But how might our cat killer respond? Might it already be too late as he seeks revenge on her, her friends, and her family for leaving him? Reddit user Lost Texanian cautions her to,
Don't say crap to him, but do some digital digging. I bet his digital footprint is either awful or completely spotless because he's deleting everything constantly. I personally wouldn't be able to be with someone who murdered a kitten as a child and is still intrigued by other creatures dying as an adult.
Well, yeah, that seems to make sense. But on the other hand, what purpose would it serve to do some digital digging into her husband? Either she'll find nothing or something. Either way, that would be proof that he's a potential psycho killer. And Reddit user Black is the new orange warns.
Holy mother of red flags. I usually give advice for people to talk things out, but I think you should run to be honest, and fast. He doesn't exactly sound remorseful over the cat, and being obsessed with death is extremely concerning. How do you know for certain that he has never tried or managed to manipulate you? I had a best friend who turned out to be something of a sociopath, and what she said and did really trucked me up, and she could be so incredibly charming and fun when she wanted to.
Well, a charming sociopath? How nice. Or maybe not. What do you think? Do you think maybe everyone here is unnecessarily panicking, and that Throw Ram U's husband was just having a delusional experience high on edibles? Or is this really a sign that he is deeply disturbed, and that she and the people she loves are in grave danger from a potential serial killer? What would you advise her to do? Please leave your thoughts, comments, and prayers for this woman below, and help our community help one another as we learn and grow. We thank you for joining us today, and as we bid you farewell, we remind you that you are absolutely fabulous, and yes, you are loved.